everyone. I hope your week is getting off to a great start and it's time to listen. This week we're going to talk a little bit about the Covid-19 pandemic. A lot of things have happened in the last 3 months. We've had shelter in place, social distancing, we're wearing masks. Many people have lost their lives, and it's so much conflict going on concerning the truth and what's not the truth. Are we being lied to? There's a lot of conspiracy theories going out. One thing for sure, we have not been told the whole truth. This thing has been going on for 3 months now here in the U.S. And on October the 18th, 2019, they had an event called the Event 201, and it was backed by Bill Gates Foundation and the World Health Organization, which is the same. They're both Bill Gates and Melinda Gates foundations. In this, they act out the COVID-19. It wasn't COVID-19, it was just a pandemic. And they had actors and what have you, people pretending to be the government, the media, and what have you. So in this simulation, they actually created or actually act out ways to handle the population if there was a pandemic. And they did, everything that we have witnessed starting in March, they had already played this thing out during the October simulation. And it seems strange to me because 5 months later, we're in the pandemic. And the media is saying the exact same things they were saying when the actors were acting it out. The government responded the same way. Everything was just like set in place. So it makes you wonder, were they preparing for it then, and because they knew it was coming, or they were just preparing for a just-in-case situation? So, there's a lot of things going on. So it's time for people to start thinking. It's time for us to start looking at this a little closer to see what's really going on. I'm just a person. I don't have a degree in social science or any of that. I'm not a medical personnel. I'm just a person, just like you. But if it don't make sense to me, then, we have to look at this a little closer and start paying attention to what they're really saying. In the beginning, in March, the end of March, we witnessed the media saying things that was really initiating fear in the public. And they were saying things, and they were like, you need to do this now. The government was on television, and it was like a panic. And you're sitting there saying, well, what's really going on? Why are they are so frantic, and they're pushing this thing, and to us it's like this just happened, or we not really aware of what's really going on, but they are. And the media, we know that they only report, the news media, they only report what they're given to report, and they only report it in the way they're given it to report. They're not just they're not going out there investigating the news and coming back with these stories. Oftentimes they are just saying what they are told to say. It's a job, and we have to start looking at it in that way. And the media, they always overdo things and what have you. So people were in fear, and no one knew exactly what's going on. And so they used fear tactics, and they did all kinds of things to cause people to panic. And so then they were saying, make sure you're doing this. And then another time they would change, well, don't do this. Don't, make sure you're wearing your mask, and you can get contaminated no matter what you're doing pretty much. If somebody's standing too close or what have you. And we know, That's how a lot of colds and flus are transmitted, through other people. Sneeze and coughs, people have fevers and what have you. And so we understood that part, but then they were so dogmatic with it. And then all of a sudden they'll say, well, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, the medical personnel and other people need masks, but you don't have to worry about wearing a mask. That's not going to help you. Then all of a sudden everybody needs a mask or what have you, especially when they started talking about opening up the cities again. So there's a whole lot of things going on. There's a whole lot of conflict, and we just really don't know what's really happening. And they're saying there's no cure. So that was one of the things they said early on, that, if you get infected, there's nothing you can do. Drink plenty of fluids, rest. The same things they said for us to do if we had, a cold or a flu or what have you. And so I personally had the virus. And let me back up a little bit, because at first they were saying, well, certain people are only getting it, and then people were saying, well, black people are not getting it, and then all of a sudden a whole lot of black people, well, children are not getting it, then children start dying. And so there were a lot of things going on, and it was kind of like every day you heard something different, and every day there was something else to be worried about. So when I was tested early in April, I had a procedure in March, and after a week or so, I started coughing, and the cough was ridiculous. That cough was just out of control. I mean, it was something I had never experienced in life. And later on, I started getting a fever. So my daughter and two of her children lived with me, so I was concerned because I didn't want to spread anything and have them be sick too. So I went to a community testing site because my doctor didn't have the test. So I went to the site, and on the 2nd and on the 5th, they contacted me and told me I tested positive. So I was like, okay, and she told me, there's no treatment, there's nothing we can do, just rest, drink plenty of fluids, and that was it pretty much. And take over-the-counter medication for the fever and the cough. So I got off the phone and what have you. I pray. I'm a believer, so I prayed. And I was feeling okay. It was just when the coughing started, and then I had the fever, and then it was one thing after another. So my daughter started making these homemade teas and different things. So we were treating it, with herbs and spices and what have you. And I was getting better. But then I had a UTI, urinary tract infection. So I contacted my doctor and let him know that what I was experiencing, what I believed it to be. And I told them, they wanted me to come in. I told them, well, I'm tested positive and I'm in quarantine, so I don't know if it's a good idea for me to come in. And so she said, are you positive? And I told her, yeah. And then she left off the phone. Then she got back on the phone and told me that that the doctor was prescribing me something for the COVID and for the UTI. And I said, what? I thought they didn't have anything to treat the COVID. And she said, well, yeah, that's what they're saying, but we're prescribing you this medication and what have you. And the medication they prescribed me was it's called, and I mess up this name, Azithrmizine. Is Azithromycine. So I'm spelling it. So, and it's 250 milligrams, and it was a 7-pack. And so I was like, just really confused. I said, so everybody, the media, the government, all these people are saying there's no treatment, there is nothing they can do. And so I was thinking, so if that's the case, why are they prescribing me this? And so I took the medication. By the 4th day, I was good. I continued to take it, the remaining of the medication, but I'm telling you, I was good. And I have, I was able to start doing things around the house again. I was able to be myself. I really, it really was I felt healed. And oh yes, I was praying and what have you. I had a friend of mine said, well, you was praying, maybe it was just God healing you. Yeah, I believe in prayer and I believe in healing. But I'm telling you that, and I believe that God led me to this medication to show that there is treatment. So if there's treatment, why are people dying? Why aren't they even trying to give them anything to treat it? If my doctor gave me this medication and said this is going to help you in this, and all these people are dying around me, what is the problem? Why aren't they trying to save the lives of these people? And I just don't understand it. There's other medications, is Azithrmizine and amoxicillin. There's other medications. A co-worker of mine was also tested positive, and her doctor prescribed her a medication, and it was also a 7-pack, and it wasn't the same medication that I had. So there are treatments out there, but they're not telling people, and that really is disturbing to me. I really don't understand, how can you allow someone to just die in the hospital and you're not doing anything about it? Are you telling people, yeah, you're positive, there's nothing else to do, there's no cure, there's no treatment, and, we're waiting on the vaccine, but, it's kind of like, if you make it, you make it, if you don't, you don't. So that's disturbing. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong with this picture. I don't understand. People are actually dying. And so we are still in the pandemic. Things are still, people are still testing positive. I'm in Dallas, and the other day we had 312 new cases, and we've had new cases every day. It's the hospitals are filling up, and things are happening, but the cities are open. People are going by their business, doing what they do. But nothing has changed concerning the pandemic. Nothing has changed. People are still getting infected. And I don't understand. So what I do believe is that this is going to go so far and they're going to shut down again because they're not going to have a choice. I don't understand the hype of it. We know the stimulus. People are talking about the $1,200 stimulus check, saying, am I going to get another one? Whatever. Stimulus, that's what it is, to stimulate the economy. But what about the health and well-being of the people in the United States and all over the world? I'm a citizen of the United States, so I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture that we see. What's wrong with all the things that we're dealing with right now? I don't understand the concept. I don't understand the practices of how this is, how the way it's been handled is just careless. It's just really ridiculous. I have medical people in my family, and they're saying, well, it's not a conspiracy. It's just the way the things are set up, and everybody is working toward the well-being of the whole, and I don't see it. I really don't see it. There's something missing in the stories. And some have said, well, it's Trump's fault. I have no good thing to say about Trump. Matter of fact, I don't even have words to describe his foolishness. But I can't say it's on him because there's too many hands in this pot. There's too many people involved. So I can't just say that because he's the president at the time. There are some things that are going on. I believe he didn't have a strategy on how to handle this, and neither did a lot of people. But there was something going on in the background. This did not come by surprise. That I do not believe. So I just want to leave those thoughts with you all, and really just encourage everyone to start thinking, start paying attention. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything they're saying. Take the time and start researching some things on your own. Not so many people are saying so many things, and like myself, I'm saying something today, but I want everyone to start thinking. Don't just believe everything. So many things. Just think about it. They're saying social, stay within 6 feet, social distancing. Okay, fine. Then they open up the barbershops and the nail salons and the beauty salons and all these places. How do you social distance? If somebody is over you, washing your hair, or cutting your hair, or doing all these things, doing your nails and whatever, it's impossible. And it said wear the mask and do this, all this kind of stuff. But before they were saying, oh, you can walk in a room and you can get infected. You could. Now they're trying to minimize the standards and saying, well, no, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it was, but people are still dying. People are still getting sick. People are still going through, and they are believing that there's no treatment. That's the thing that bothers me the most, that they are allowing people to die, and it seems to be okay. So I continue to pray for everyone. Pray for me. We pray that revelation will come, that we will hear the truth, know the truth, and it will be that truth that will set us free, that make us free, because we need to know what we're really dealing with and not to continually to be lied to. So you all have a blessed day, and remember, it's time to listen.